Wow. I feel bad for the casuals watching this episode because holy crap, what an exposition dump. But it is important. I mean, it's like the most important information because everything that is being talked about in this episode is what the rest of the series is going to be about. And that being said, this is what Jujutsu Kaisen is truly about. It's about the Culling game. And I know that's kind of weird, but it's true. This is what Jujutsu Kaisen boils down to on a molecular level. It's just about the Culling game. Like Yuji, as a character, as a being, he was made just so that he could be a part of this. Like if somebody were to ask you like, hey, what's Jujutsu Kaisen about? You would say like, oh, it's about these sorcerers who protect Japan from these cursed spirit ghost monster things. And I guess, yeah, partly that's what it's about. But what it's truly about, a mad scientist sorcerer 1,000 years ago set up all of these contingencies and plans so that 1,000 years into the future, when the stars align, he'll be able to make this supernatural AI configurated Squid Game thing as to where a bunch of powerful sorcerers can kill each other until the clock counts down to the point of where the barriers that make up this game can merge all of the citizens of Japan with an abstract, all-powerful sorcerer spirit being thing, which will lead to the world ending. That's what Jujutsu Kaisen is about in a nutshell. But anyway, let's try to break this down the best that we can. Hopefully this video is 10 minutes or less. I think I can get it done in that amount of time. So we're getting fully introduced to Tengen here. Tengen, by the way, is a woman. You can tell by the voice. And also, you know, as we've seen before, they were supposed to merge with Rico, the star plasma vessel, who is also a woman. But also because of that failing, they start to like mutate, I guess, and start to look more like a cursed spirit, which Tengen says that they are more of a cursed spirit now than anything. But do I really have to explain the star plasma vessel stuff? That was explained in season 2. It doesn't matter. Tengen looks this way because they weren't able to merge with them, because the way their immortality curse technique works. But anyway, Tengen finally reveals the name of the person in Geto's body who was also in the body of Noritoshi Kamo 150 years ago or whatever. Their name is Kenjaku. Finally, I can say that in these reviews. Kenjaku is their name. This is the name of this character, the stitched guy, aka Yuji's mom, Kenjaku. Then we go over what his big plan is involving the Culling game and all of the major characters of the series. Now, thankfully, at the very end of this episode, before we get into the Takaba stuff, we get like this cheat sheet. And this is awesome because we're just going to go off of this cheat sheet. So like I said, Kenjaku needed the stars to align for their plan to happen, because they tried to do this at least 2 times in the past or whatever, try to have humanity merge with this barrier, but the Six Eyes user foiled them. So they figured, okay, I'm not going to kill them anymore. I'm just going to seal them in the prison realm, which we saw Kenjaku do in the previous scene. Also, him taking out Rico, the star plasma vessel, kind of just happened by chance because Toji did it. Then Geto, coming out of nowhere, I guess with his cursed spirit manipulation curse technique, which is being implied that he's the first person to ever have this. I don't know if that is the case, but it seems that way. So that's why Kenjaku has taken over Geto's body, because his curse technique is so pivotal to his plan. First of all, for taking Mahito's curse technique, but also now it allows him to take Tengen, because Tengen, like we said, has now become more of a cursed spirit than anything, so he's susceptible to cursed spirit manipulation. And once he takes Tengen, he can merge him with the Culling game barrier, and then the Culling game barrier will like go through Japan, and then all of the people in Japan will like merge with Tengen, who is a part of the barrier at this point. And then I can't tell you exactly what this will do because it's going to be revealed later, but as Tengen says, it will cause the end of the world. But there's also like a cool way that it will cause the end of the world. Now, also the second part of the cheat sheet talks about the Culling game itself. Those whose curse techniques awakened, incarnated sorcerers. They fight, stock up cursed energy in the Culling game itself, and then that further allows the barrier to work and, you know, do what it's supposed to do with merging people with Tengen eventually. That's why they have to fight. It's not just like a useless thing. They're just farming cursed energy for the Culling game to do what it needs to do. So we haven't been introduced to these people that have had their brains altered so that they can have cursed techniques yet, but we will soon. Also, incarnated sorcerers. This is like Yuji. There's other people out there like Yuji who have eaten cursed objects of sorcerers of the past who are going to become those sorcerers again. You know how like Sukuna takes over Yuji's body? That's going to happen with a few other people. Although, of course, they're not going to be as strong as Sukuna. Sukuna is like the GOAT. Then once they get into the Culling game, there's like a few rules. I mean, there's a bunch of rules, but we'll just go over the really popular ones. So if you kill a sorcerer, you get 5 points. If you kill a regular person, you get 1 point. Once you get enough points, you can start doing things with them, such as like making rules. I think it's like 100 points, you can make a rule. The rule can be pretty much anything, but it can't like completely alter the game or make it into like a broken game state or whatever. You can't like make a rule that's like, I end the game, because you know, you can't. You can only essentially end the game if everyone dies. Then you can also make a rule to like have people leave the Culling game, or you can make a rule to like have people change between colonies, because once you pick a specific colony in the Culling game, you kind of just have to stay there. And also there's like a part of it as to where if you're chosen to be in the Culling game by Kenjaku, like, you know, the people that had their brains altered to have curse techniques, like implied to be Sumiki, Megumi's sister, she was already chosen to be in the Culling game. So she has to compete in it in a certain amount of days or she's going to be killed, essentially. So they need to figure out how to get her out of the game in that amount of time. Also, you have to like accumulate points in a certain amount of time. It's like a couple days too or something like that. And if you don't, then the game will kill you again. And then also it says that the game is managed by the game master, which is the game itself. It's kind of like Jujutsu ChatGPT. It's like an AI system, more or less, that governs the game. This is also how you make rules, like you talk to it. It's going to give you like its own little Kogane thing to where it'll show you like the leaderboard, the players in the game. Also, you can like negotiate with it what rules you want to make and what rules can't be made and so on and so forth. So then Tengen reveals that there is also a back to the prison realm. There's like 2 prison realms. This is pretty convenient, right? The prison realm that Kenjaku sealed Gojo with has like a back door to it that Tengen has somehow. However, they can't just open it and free Gojo that easily. They need to use some method of breaking the curse technique on it. So they need to find this reincarnated sorcerer who's going to be in the Culling game. This person is from Sukuna's era, the Heian era, 1,000 years ago. This is, like I said, another Sukuna type person. This person, Angel, has a curse technique that can just nullify curse techniques as well. Pretty broken, right? So if they find this person and have them use their curse technique on the back of the prison realm, Gojo will be released. And now they can just win because no one can stop Gojo, right? So that's part of the plan here. And we'll go to the last part of the cheat sheet. Maki is going to go to the Zhoniin clan. She's going to retrieve Juzo Kumamiya's cursed tools, which is going to help her in the Culling game. Then they're going to meet up with Panda. Then Akotu, who is the most powerful here, by the way, is going to go on ahead alone. And he's just going to gather information in the colonies. Then Yuji and Megumi are going to go recruit Hikari. Hikari is the last special grade sorcerer we have yet to meet. He was hyped up in season 1 before the Goodwill game started. They said that he was on par with Akotu. We'll see if that's true or not. And then once all 4 of them do what they're supposed to do, they're going to participate in the Culling game. And then Tsukumo and Choso are just going to guard Tengen because he's integral to Kenjaku's plan. If Kenjaku just shows up and absorbs Tengen, it's over. So they need to stop Kenjaku from being able to take him. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And then at the end of the episode, we're introduced to this guy, Takaba, who seems to be a journeyman comedian. Maybe not even a journeyman. He's just kind of like a failed comedian. Is it a spoiler if I say that this is the guy that we see in the intro here? I mean, the intro kind of spoils it anyway. He's not going to be a villain. It looks like he's going to be friends with the cast. So take that for what you will. But let me know what you guys thought about this in the comments. A lot to go over here. I'm sure I missed a ton of stuff. Let me know how angry you are in the comments. But if you liked the video, please give it a like and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.